My name is Luke, and today we're going to be doing a live English lesson about some things. I'm going to be talking to some people today. We'll also be, let's see, what else will be happening today? Hold on a second. Is this right? Yes. Yes, it should be. Let me just make sure we're live and that everything is functioning properly. Yeah. And I need to also update the cards. Give me a second, guys. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Very important, of course, but we are live. Hey, RB is here. What is this no way business? What is that all about? What do you mean, no way? Okay, thumbnail. Yes, gotta do that. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. And then we'll get started. Sorry for the drinking sounds. There's a little ASMR for you to keep you entertained. Sorry. I hate ASMR. Why am I doing it? I don't even like it. Who knows? Who knows? Okay. That's good. Saved. Live? Yes? Okay. Let me make sure it's saved. Things are a little slow today. What's up with that? Thanks for your patience. So today we are going to be talking about questions you may have. So, of course, feel free to ask questions if you have them. And otherwise, I'm going to be inviting some friends into the chat. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, who knows how that's going to go? I like to try things out sometimes, have conversations. Last time I talked with Pablo, and that was fun. So what better thing to do than talk with Pablo again? I think Pablo's going to join, and some other people maybe. Some people in the WhatsApp group who may decide to join as well, which I think could be pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, check out my courses, full courses in the links in the description. Of course, if you have not done so already, like button, subscribe. Yes, of course. And the courses are on sale, so you can check those out for a limited time discount. Okay, I'm gonna tag some people. All right. So what else? I see we have some people who are already here. We've got Marwin, welcome, and RB. You answered one of my questions a few months ago, and I still have it recorded. I have a very useful tip in my mind. Oh, you mean you have a useful tip for me? That would be helpful. I need all the tips I can get. I'm out of control. I'm desperate for help. Help me. Yes, tips. Tell me how I can make these live streams better. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you like about them and what you don't like about them. I'm very good at taking negative feedback. If there's something you don't like, Luke, I don't like your hair. I wish you'd shave your head. Hey, I want to hear all of it. That's fine. Or maybe I don't like the way you explain things. Please do it differently, even if it's that general, although I do prefer specific feedback. But if you guys have requests or questions about the format and the style of live streams, I do always want to improve them over time. So make suggestions and tell me what I can do better. I'm all ears. All right? Amar, how do I do? I do pretty good. Thank you. Why is it whenever I listen to podcasts by native speakers in a normal pace, I understand pretty much everything, while when I watch movies, I have to keep rewinding? They're so colloquial, right? Movies are so culturally referencing constantly things in the culture, and Yeah. In podcasts, it tends to be more, well, it's tough to say. It depends on which podcast, but it tends to be more conversational stuff about everyday things more often, although it really does depend on the podcast you listen to. But movies, they might be more obscure. I don't know. It kind of depends on which movies you're watching and which podcasts you're listening to. Okay, we might have a... All right. Pablo might not be joining after all. Well, it happens. Okay. Just be who you are and share your thoughts. You're a good speaker and very intelligent. It comes naturally. Well, that's very kind. That's very kind. But that's certainly not negative feedback, RB. That's positive feedback. That makes me feel good. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to give me negative feedback, something I can use to improve. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Greetings from Peru, from Aldo on Facebook. Wonderful. Please make videos on cultural references. It's so broad. But let me tell you one thing. It's probably the riskiest thing I've ever done. I am right now in the middle of filming a course on American culture. Now, I know that's kind of absurd, right? How can one person talk about the whole culture? Yes, that's true. I'm trying to make it clear in the course that it is just my perspective. I have some facts and figures, but it's going to be probably 14 hours, and it's quite intense to do. I'm just talking, and I'm going to be providing pictures and stuff, but it's all about American culture sort of through my eyes, which of course is biased, and I don't have everybody's experience, but I know that's not strictly language related, but it is relevant to the it's relevant to the language because language is part of culture. I'm trying to give a sense for it. I'll just read off some of the topics. These are the main sections, and inside of these sections are lessons, and lessons quite a few points. So let me just read off, because I'm actually working on the course right now. Values. American values. Eating. Social media and online culture. Transportation. Finances and credit. Finding a job. Working culture. Health. New media. Parenting and family. Education. Holiday traditions. Ideals and identity. Shopping habits. Faux pas. American politics. Dating and marriage. American humor. Cinema. Music and culture. And then that's it. It's going to cover a lot of stuff. So that's coming out, pretty soon. That's coming. Well, no, not pretty soon. Not very soon, but it will come out at some point. I'm actually filming it now, and it's going to cover all of those main topics. So look out for those. Absolutely. Hi, Vissel is here. Good. Patricio, another transmission. Wow, you are on fire. We can call it a live stream. Patricio or Patricio, right? My manager once told me that I'm one of her best employees. I didn't know that I was doing right, LOL. Wished back then if she could just tell me what makes me good. So that's why I got the positive feedback from RB. She wants to give me positive reinforcements. Oh, all right, if you insist. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But I am good at taking negative feedback. So if people tell me, hey, Luke, I don't like this or this needs to improve, I like to hear it. I really do. It wasn't always that way, but now I definitely enjoy it. Okay, so if you've got questions about anything, English, culture, pronunciation, sentences, idioms, cooking recipes, I don't know anything about that, but you're welcome to ask. I can make one up for you. Whatever you want to ask, now's the time. And I missed a few yesterday. We did a live stream yesterday. I missed some. I feel bad about that. So feel free to ask those again if I did miss your question yesterday. All my bosses are knobheads. We don't use that one in America. That's more of a British thing. You see that in a lot of British TV shows and entertainment. Well, I guess it's in England, but we don't use that one too much in America. Do you play PUBG? I've played PUBG. Here's my problem with PUBG. PUBG is a great game. It's well done, very well made, but I like to play with a controller. I use an Xbox controller, and what I usually do, because I have a PlayStation, but I don't play it that much. What I usually do is play on my iPad. I've got an iPad, and I've got an Xbox controller that connects to that, and Call of Duty Mobile has really good support for the controller. So for most games, you have to actually touch the screen or buy an attachment that's beside the phone, but then it's very small. I like the we got someone joining here. Who do we got? Oh, there he is. The one and only. I was just talking.
We are live.
Oh yeah, we're live.
I didn't know.
We're very live.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Right. It's all right.
You know what I'm gonna try? I'm gonna try this bubble thing I want to do. Hold on a second. That's not what I want. I want to try to see if I can make us bubbles. So give me a second. Can you guys still hear Pablo? Can I add myself?
The mic. Can you hear me now?
That's actually. Can you turn it up a little bit? It's a little bit quiet.
Now, what about now?
Yeah, it's better. It's not necessarily a bet. Well, I guess it's pretty good. What are you using?
Now it is a mic, a real. I don't know. The other one was a microphone of the webcam.
Ah, okay. So this one is a higher quality one, right?
Yes, but I don't know if I configured it fine. So maybe the other is better now.
This one's fine. This one sounds pretty good.
Okay.
So the other mic is a mic specifically for recording stuff, for music?
This one I'm using now, yes.
What, you use it for all your recording, or do you have special mics for different instruments? Because I know some instruments require different types of mics.
Yes, I use it to record especially the percussion effects, or the cymbals of the drums. But it also is used to record guitar, acoustic guitar. Yes, it's very versatile.
That's cool. Mm. How do you, when you're recording, do you actually go to a studio and have a producer, or do you do it mostly on your own? What's your process for making songs on your own? How do you actually do it?
To record in my home is something very new to me. I've done a lot of recordings in a studio with producers and all that stuff. Yes.
What's the difference in the process? I mean, which type of process do you like better? Sorry, guys, I know that I'm showing a screen and not showing a screen. Don't worry about it. I'm working on something, okay? Give me a break. Sorry, Pablo. Go
It's
ahead.
really, yes, no, it's really different because in the studio every hour costs a lot of money and you need to play perfect in every take or
Yeah.
try to do that. That is the main difference, I think. And if you are doing it yourself, you can experiment much more.
So the process is a little bit more iterative. You can do 100 different takes, and you don't have to worry about using studio time, right?
Yes, that's right.
That makes sense. Is it pretty expensive to record in a studio?
Yes, it is. It is. But it's not so expensive as it was like 20 years ago. I was not recording at that time, but the people who did it says that it was very expensive.
Yeah,
Now it's cheaper.
that's cool. That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah. I've been in a studio a couple times, but I just remember when I was there, they were like, hurry up, because we've got to
Mm.
we're on the clock, man, and so that was always a problem. Could you move slightly to your right, Pablo, so you're kind of in the circle? You see what I'm doing here? Yeah, beautiful. I like this. I haven't tried the circle overlays. I've been trying to figure out how to do this, but now I can do it. Yeah, circles. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I see your face
Oh my God,
only.
that's terrible. I'm so sorry. So sorry about that. I don't want that. Let me see if I can change what you see. Guest view broadcast. Okay, I mean you should be seeing my screen and both of us as bubbles on your screen. No?
No, but maybe I can watch your screen on the YouTube live.
Well, it might
I
be a
can
little.
try
It
to.
might be a little. It's fine. It's no big deal. No big deal. I was gonna say if we had another person, we could do a 3-person talking game, but otherwise, maybe not. That's fine. That's okay. So, what have you been up to, Pablo, since last time we talked? What kind of projects are you working on? What have you been doing?
Mm, Not so different. The life is very flat right now in my life. Yes.
Do you like that, or do you like things to always be
Yes.
mixed up?
No. Yes. No. Yes. I like. I feel comfortable.
So you're a come home from work and grab a pipe and sit down in your easy chair and read a book type of guy, right?
Yes. You remember I said what part of the Rings were my favorite.
Right. Can you remind me about that?
I was saying that I like those parts where the hobbits were relaxing and
Yeah.
smoking their pipes.
How about the stuff in Rivendell? That's pretty relaxing. The hobbits are just eating and they're kind of walking around and their leaves falling. That
Of
seems
course,
that seems
yes,
pretty
yes.
relaxing.
It's more for people more wealthy.
Right, right. Well, I
It,
don't know if I do. Yeah, I guess if you're an elf, though, if you're not wealthy, that's pretty sad because you've literally been alive for thousands of years. If you haven't figured out how to make a lot of money in that amount of time, I'm sorry, but that's just pathetic. That's very sad.
yes,
I
you're
can
right.
forgive someone who doesn't do it in one normal human lifetime, but thousands of years, even if you worked a low wage job for 1,000 years, you would you'd save up a lot of money, I think. I guess we're
Yes,
not supposed to
but
think about
maybe
those
you
things.
are good with all that stuff, and you get tired to administer well your money, and then when you are 200 years old, you start to waste all your money
That's
suddenly.
very interesting. So that's sort of this. So we think about everything in terms of one normal lifetime. So we think, okay, I might live 80 years, maybe. So when I'm in my 20s and 30s, I'm grinding, I'm saving, then I turn 40 and I realize, 45, money is not everything. I'm going to buy a boat or something. I'm going to buy a speedboat.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get over that and you get old and then you realize, oh, maybe I'll spend my money. And I want to be comfortable in my retirement, so I'll invest properly and buy my grandkids candy so that they'll be happy. But how does that work then if the lifespan is 400 years, 500 years, then the dynamics are totally different, right? I mean, that's totally different.
Yes.
So what do you think, just sort of putting yourself in the mindset of a 2,000-year-old elf, just easy.
I will be really boring.
You think so? So you think that you would
Yes.
run out of stuff to do?
For example, I think I don't like wars. I don't like to be to think the idea of being on a battle. Indeed, I said to you that those parts of Lord of the Rings are not my favorite. But maybe
Yeah.
if I were an elf with 200 years old, I would say, "Hey, I won't try I want to try to be in the front of the battle."
You want to it's a death wish essentially. You want to die. But
Yes.
okay, I'm sorry, I don't accept that, Pablo, because I think you say that and it's easy to say, "Oh yeah, if I live 500 years I'll be bored." But I have a suspicion that that is not true. That you at no point would say, "Okay, I'm done." I think cuz you're a very curious man. You are always reading Wikipedia articles. You know about everything. I suspect that you would never get bored of doing that or variations of that. Maybe you'd get tired of Wikipedia, but then you would go live underground with the rat people in New York, and then you would go. I mean, you would just do different things. I don't think that you would get bored, and I don't think there would be any point where you would say, "You know what? I've had enough. I don't want to do it anymore."
Yes, but I am human, and I don't know
Yeah.
if elves likes to if they are so curious. I don't think they are not neurotic and curious and they are
How do you
very
know elves are
solemn.
not neurotic and curious? Well, that's a very big statement. That's a very big statement.
Hmm.
They might be.
Yes, yes, they might be. I don't know. I don't know. We need we need an expert.
Yeah.
You know some expert on this subject.
I don't. I really don't. I don't know any experts.
It
I
will
would
be great because I think he may have some customs and he will join the live with his axe and his
that would be
sword.
great.
Yes.
I would like to fill this screen up with bubbles and have a conversation about it. Someone is asking in the chat, I wonder what language does Pablo speak natively? And last time people thought you were French because of this, I think. And
Yes.
this time people think that you're Italian. They think that your native language is Italian, which,
Yes,
yeah. What do you think about
that makes sense because my accent is very similar to the Italians. You know, where I live in my city, there have been a lot of immigration from Italy. Indeed, my second name is Favazza. It's an
I noticed that.
Italian. Yes, so my accent is very similar when I watch Italian movies and they say, for example, some name that exists here. I hear exactly the same way, like they say, Rebecca, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Um, yeah. And that's because, well, what I said, but what the people think is my language,
Italian.
Italian,
Italian, yeah.
it isn't. I want them to guess.
Okay, keep guessing, guys. Someone guessed Portuguese. Amara guessed Portuguese, Italian. So far, no.
No, but I know how
His
to
name is
speak a
Pablo,
little
guys.
bit.
It's Pablo.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
So that, I mean, that gives it away for me. As soon as I hear that, I would know without needing to know your native language. Without meeting you, I could know, because Pablo is specific to one language, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, I
I
think.
think I think so. I think it is.
Mm.
Someone says, "I'll remember that Pablo is great at speaking his language. I'm so proud of him, and he's dedicated to learn another language." So some RB is proud of you. That's great. That's wonderful. If any of you guys have questions for myself or for Pablo, then just let us know. But I want to go. I want to go back to the living for hundreds of years thing. Did you ever read Homo Deus?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
I
So we've
did.
both read this book by
Mm.
Noel Yuval Harari. Is that right? That's his name, right?
Right.
Or Yuval Noel Harari. I forget which one is his first name.
Yuval
Yuval
is the first. Yes.
Yuval Noel Harari.
Noah
Noah.
Harari.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. I gotta know this now. Hold on. Let me. How do I search that? Now I have to know. It's
He's
Yuval Noah Noah Harari. Yeah, Yuval Noah Harari. Okay. So, do you remember what he says about longer lifespans? He thinks that we're going to start living much longer, like hundreds of years. Do you remember what he said about that?
no, not right now.
One thing I remember distinctly was about things like friendships, relationships, marriages, that you would move those things. You would say, spend 80 years with one person and then you would go on to the next. Your friends would always change. From age 20 to 60, you have one career. From then age 120 to 200, you would have a totally different career. You would want to do something else, maybe based on that, maybe be a wise elder or something. Those are the things that he mentioned about an indefinite lifespan. I don't think I would ever get bored. Because there's always something to think about and learn about, and the possibility of a totally different way of living at age 120, like a different phase of life, is pretty interesting. Is pretty exciting. I don't think anyone would get totally bored by it. Well, most people wouldn't, I think.
Yes, I think it will be interesting to think if in that kind of life you also will feel pain during the life.
Well, you would.
Because
Yeah. Go ahead.
no, I think if you know that you are not going to die, maybe in that kind of life you also don't feel any kind of pain.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
know.
I think you would get better at dealing with emotional pain. You'd have to. You'd learn how to, because you would have friends and they would die, because people would still get in car accidents and stuff, and there would be still some disease, maybe, or meteors
So
falling from the sky. So you would have mechanisms to deal in your mind emotionally with grief and dying much better than someone who's 60 can do that.
so you can get ill in that life.
Well, we're making the rules here, so what do you think? I want one illness that's still around, and
Only
you
one.
lose your arms and legs, or I don't know, something. It's got to be something, right? It can't be nothing.
Yes, but if it is any illness there, um, so you will not feel any kind of uh, you will not feel bad. What will make you feel bad if there is no illness? Mm,
I mean, what would make me feel bad? I think it would be the same things that make me feel bad now, right? Um, Someone in the chat just said, "Well, I'm 32 and I'm bored out of my mind." So Amar is already ready to check out. Put Amar in the front of the battlefield. He's ready to fight to the death. What was I gonna say? No, so I think if you are able to deal with things like grief because you know many more people who have passed away, you would still get annoyed by the everyday things. Like you forgot that you had a 1 month trial to a subscription service, and then you forgot to cancel it in time, and then they charged you and they won't refund you. Well, that would still maybe. Why would that not still annoy you? I can imagine that annoying me for several hundred
I
years.
I think it will not annoy you because you can do whatever you want someday. Maybe not right now,
Okay,
but
fair enough. I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah.
I don't
So you
know.
think
It's difficult.
eventually, after 300 years, we would just be like Buddha's, peaceful, nothing would bother us. We would have figured out how to deal with all of our emotions, and because when I meet old ladies in New York, they are more angry than young people. They're balls of rage, and
Yeah.
they should be more peaceful, but they're filled with rage and impatience. One
Yes.
time, I was my I was in a car, or someone was in a car, and we stopped at the crosswalk to let someone walk by. Because actually, we had the right of way, the right to go, and they should have stopped, but we stopped to let them walk. And they yelled at us for letting them walk. Like, what are you doing? You got the right of way. What the? It's the classic New York rage thing is real. The I'm walking here, that classic I'm walking here sort of thing. That's a real thing in New York. But it tends to be
Yes.
older people. So I'm not sure if people as
Yes.
they get older necessarily get more
No, no. But
balanced.
I thinking that to be old is in a way like to be ill because
Bold statement.
yes. No, it's you have to think, but who gets old and don't get any illness? I think
Okay. Oh, I see
almost
what you mean. I thought you were calling being old an illness itself. I see what you mean. You're saying usually old age accompanies some sort of illness of some kind.
yes. And if you are old, maybe you can't do with your body the same thing you did when you was at your 20s.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair. So that might be
But
frustrating.
yes, maybe, but you need to think now if in that life that you don't die, with which physical state you will last all that time.
Well, it wouldn't be now because I'm very out of shape, and I would say, let me work for a year and then come to me, and I will be in my peak. I'll be ready for lock it in. I'll say,
Right.
not right now because I'm not where I want to be forever. If I have to stay here, I'll pass.
Hmm.
Put me in the front of the battlefield. Um, a couple there. I saw a couple questions, maybe for you, maybe for me. So Mary asks, what's the book's name you just mentioned? The book is called Homo Deus, Homodeus, and it follows the other book which most people know, many have read, called Sapiens. Sapiens is about the past, and Homo Deus is about the future. It's good. It's maybe not as good as Sapiens. I don't know. Are you reading anything now, Pablo?
Yes, I started to read what you did recommend me, that Jung book.
Oh, Carl Jung. Yeah.
Yes,
What do you think about that guy?
it's very interesting, but I am just starting right
Oh,
now.
okay. Yeah. You
I
bought
will tell you later.
Modern Man in Search of a Soul, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What do you want to tell us about that book? Because you like it.
Well, I think Carl Jung was very insightful. He came after Freud. He was Freud's chosen boy. He was supposed to carry Freud's legacy forward. And Freud had some theories that Jung didn't agree with, and eventually these disagreements led to a complete break in their relationship. And when Freud realized that Jung was breaking away from his school of thought, his way of thinking, he actually collapsed and fell on the floor because it was like he was realizing that his legacy could die. Everything that he worked for could fade. And so he had a collapse. He suffered a collapse at what he viewed as betrayal of Jung. Jung was more interested in what some people call slightly more mystical things. So I'll give you a few examples. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Excuse me. I've got some allergies going on. So Jung believed his main contribution was what's called the collective unconscious. The collective unconscious is this idea that a person, the total person, is not just their conscious mind, their waking self. Actually, most of what makes each of us a person is underneath the surface in the unconscious. But the unconscious has different parts. One part is the shadow, and the shadow is the dark side of yourself, and everyone has one. And if you don't know what yours is, then when it comes up and tries to eat you, it probably will, because you don't know about it.
Wow.
He also believed in the self, and the self is the true thing within you that knows kind of where you should be, and is the thing that gives you those intuitions about what's right for you. It's the thing at the center of the mandala. It's the self, and it kind of knows. But all of these other parts of the unconscious often shove it down and push it aside. Then you have the collective unconscious, and these are images, archetypes that we share. So he believed that mythology is something that comes from the common unconscious stuff that's in our DNA that we all share, or at least groups of people share. So why is it that we have common dreams? What does it mean when there's a horse in a dream? What does that horse represent? So people then would make stories and myths based on these things way down in the unconscious, and then when other people see the story or the myth, they go, I identify with that. And that's why he thought that symbols like the cross and other symbols had such power. Why do those things have such incredible power? It's because there's something way down in there, way down in your unconscious that's reaching out and grabbing onto that symbol, and you're not even aware of it, but it's sort of grabbing onto it, and the symbol is it focuses on that, all of that unconscious energy. And he thought that was actually part of our DNA, just like how, when turtles come out of the egg and they sort of go toward the ocean, how do they know that? It's in their instincts. Part of us is this layer way down of these ancient, dark, slimy memes. And these things are in all of us. And so when we see, that's why we identify with stories. That's why we religious ideas make sense to us. That's why we can connect around these pictures that come up in our dreams as well. And that's why he thought dreams were a good window into the unconscious. So, it's much more complicated than that. There's also the anima and the animus. The anima is your inner woman. Every man has an inner woman, and every woman has an inner man, and that's another whole thing. But anyway, that's the basic idea of those are his basic sort of ideas.
It's very aesthetic,
Very.
very, very visual, very poetic. I like that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and the book that you're reading has a lot, not a lot of that stuff, but a good intro to some of that stuff. It's quite interesting.
The horse is the father, isn't?
It depends. So he would say, "Tell me your dream." And then he would say, not, "I know what it means," but he would say, "Well, I've read a lot of mythology. I've read a lot of stories. Horses tend to mean either this or this or this or this in stories." But then the only thing that matters is the dreamer. If the dreamer says, "Yeah, it's that one," that's the one you identify with, then that's the correct answer. So Jung's job was just he was so knowledgeable, he could just bring a bunch of stuff up because he'd read so much. That was his thing. Very interesting stuff.
What did you dream last night? Do you remember?
Yeah, but if I share it, my channel will get blocked. No, I'm just kidding. I've had some... Are we going to psychoanalyze each other? That's fine with me. So I'll tell you one dream I had recently, and then but then you have to tell me one of yours, okay?
Okay.
A memorable dream. This one is pretty clear. I was in a very large department store, and there were people working in the store, but it was dark. It was after hours. So it was this huge department store with multiple floors, and it was after the closing time, but there were still employees moving around. But I couldn't get anyone's attention. I would see someone going, not in a scary way, but I could see someone walking by, and I would go toward them and try to ask them a question because I didn't know why I was in this department store, but I could never get anyone's attention. And so I found myself walking through different departments in this store, and I thought, well, I'll just stay here until the department store opens. But just as the department store was about to open in the morning, I woke up. I didn't actually get to see the doors open. So I had a feeling of excitement of when the doors open, that'll be good because then I feel it's kind of scary and alone in here in this department store. It'll be good when people come. That'll be nice. The lights will turn on. It'll be much better. It's very moody in here. And I remember the other thing I specifically remember is seeing the guy on like a lawnmower, but it's not a lawnmower. It's the wax thing, waxing the floors, driving by very, very slowly on this machine. And I was trying to get his attention, but he was also completely ignoring me. So everyone ignored me, and I was just walking around in this department store. Very strange.
The first one, if I may psychoanalyze you,
let's do it.
I think maybe you feel that you need the interaction with those people that your shop is related to that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
you
so.
You interact with people, and of course you thought that about your dream, right?
That's why you're here, Pablo. Finally, I'm talking to someone. Hooray!
Right. When you are not into this kind of interaction, that is also your shop, you feel that you are alone, like in that dreams. Maybe is one thing that your unconscious sometimes feel. Maybe it's not what happens really to you, but
no, I think that's fair. It wasn't like I was desperately lonely or anything. I just felt that I was looking forward to when I could see people coming in. Not necessarily that I would talk to them, but I did want to talk to the people working in the store who were always moving away from me. I did want to talk to them more out of curiosity. But it wasn't like a scary dream where it's just, the mannequins turn and look at you like that. It was peaceful. I felt very peaceful, but I did want to
Mm.
catch their attention, and I couldn't do that. So I think your analysis is pretty fair, actually.
It's very beautiful, your dream. I like that. Yes.
Yeah, it was not a bad dream. It was definitely a weird dream for sure.
Yes, I say beautiful in a sense, not nice and happy, but the image I get, all the like if it were a movie, the movie in my mind when you were telling your dream, I like it. I like it that.
It was a very cinematic dream, especially sort of standing in the center of one of the departments and seeing the old man on the wax machine going and just totally ignoring me because he's so focused on what he's doing. It was sort of like a purgatory thing in a weird way.
Who do you think will be the best director for your dream? Maybe Christopher
No,
Nolan
that's too
or
exciting. Not Christopher Nolan. That's way too. It's not a Christopher Nolan movie. It's more like a maybe mm, maybe the Coen brothers. But if they decided to do a movie with no dialogue, which would be a weird thing, but maybe that slower sort of pace.
right.
Maybe Darren Aronofsky. He would be the guy who did The Fountain. He would be. I think he would do
Mm.
the. I'm just thinking of his sense for cinematography. I think the
I think
cinematography would be
in
good.
Fargo, I think in Fargo from the Coen brothers, there are some scenes that are more like your dream.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to watch it again, but I remember that.
Well, it's your turn. It's your turn, Pablo. Don't say anything that's gonna ban the channel, though.
Excuse me, have you seen the movie? Uh, I can't remember the title. I'm thinking on starting. No, thinking on finishing things or starting things. The movie of the
I'm thinking of
you know
ending things.
yes, that one.
I've
Did
heard
you
about
did
this. I've heard it's
uh,
good, but I've never seen it.
it's good, and I think it has
Is this
that
about
characteristic.
suicide or divorce?
No, it's a strange movie. Yes,
Well,
I
it's
don't know
Charlie Kaufman.
really.
I love Charlie
Yes,
Kaufman.
Charlie
I
Kaufman.
loved
Yes.
he did Synecdoche, New York, and he wrote Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Yes.
So yeah, Vissel says Martin
And
Scorsese thing because Scorsese has done so many different genres and he's really good at all the genres. So I would trust Scorsese with about anything.
if you can get if you can get him to do the movie of your dream, it would be really great.
Listen, Marty, I've got one for you. This
Yes.
is gonna be yeah. Picture this. It's a department store. It's night. I like it. I like it. Keep going. He's got a very classic New York accent. Tell me more about this dream. So you're in a department store. What's next? He's got that sort of. All right. Well,
Yes.
it's your turn, Pablo. You got to tell me one of your.
I will give a lesson.
No
I will tell
worries.
the dream.
That sure.
Yes. Um,
Give me the
the
1 minute
dream.
version. 1 minute version.
Okay. I was with a guy like a mafia guy, and he was asking me to do like a tattoo on her throat, but it was not really a tattoo. It was just he wanted me to take a
Mm-hmm.
razor and to do the cutting, the
To cut
cut
or
to cut
to shave his neck or to
to
cut.
to cut to cut
Hey.
slightly, very slightly. And I said, no, I can't do that, it will hurt you. And he told, no, I need you to do that right now. And I did that. But later, he came with another mafia guys, and he said to me, you hurt me, you did it to me. And I said,
Ah,
no, you asked me to do that tattoo. And he said, no, we will kill you.
wow, that's a very, very visual dream. Well, I know you have to go, but I'm going to think about that one, and maybe I can share my thoughts with you later on
Or you
WhatsApp.
can tell it here, and then
Right? Yeah, I'll say
I
things
watch
about
it.
you after you're gone. That's not fair.
I have no
uh,
problem.
yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. It's definitely got to do something with the danger spot, something that's so close to something that
Mm.
could kill you. That's very symbolic. But then the
Hmm.
mafia guy represents the the person who will flip, who will as a mafia person, they represent the opposite of the mafia person because sometimes they do undercover and sometimes they aren't undercover. So
Mm.
they're sort of they have that dual aspect, and I think that's important as well.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's a good lecture.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, we'll have to talk about that one later. All right, I'll let you go to your lesson, Pablo. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Luke. Bye bye.
See you next time. Let's do games next time.
Okay, that would be great. Thank
See
you.
ya. All right, that was fun. Okay, well, back to normal, back to your normally scheduled programming. Thanks, Pablo, for doing the conversation. I enjoyed that very much. Someone said, "Are these pre-scheduled?" No, I just posted in the WhatsApp group. Does someone want to join? Pablo did, and that's it. It's pretty simple. But yeah, that was cool. So thanks again to Pablo for that. He's got a drum lesson. Pablo teaches percussion, teaches people how to play different musical instruments, especially drums, and I don't know what other types of drums there are. Bongos? Is that even a real thing? I don't know. Okay, let's see if we missed any other questions. Guys, if you have questions about anything, let me know. I'll be here for a little while longer to answer your questions, so feel free. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. Yeah, thanks for hanging out during the conversation. Best English learning app. That's a good one. I don't know. I really can't say I honestly have a strong recommendation for best English learning app. I haven't found one that is an overall learning app that I've thought, wow, that's just amazing. I love that. I haven't come across one that's truly great yet. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for hanging out. Luba. Much appreciated. Okay. Talk about the book A Crowd, Study of the Popular Mind if you haven't read it. Ooh, okay. I'll have to check that out. Candy, it's a good suggestion. Let me write that down. The Crowd. A Study of the Popular Mind. Interesting. Fascinating. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, guys. Juan, what are we talking about? Oh, we were talking about dreams and some other stuff. What's the difference between I am going to eat and I will be eating? Okay, that's a good one. It's called eJoy English. Ah, okay. Hold on. Let me quickly search this. eJoy English. eJoy English. Oh yeah, we looked at that one. I think we looked at that one, right? We took a look, and I think the conclusion was pretty cool, but not one of those overwhelmingly, oh, please download this. You must. It's the best. I feel that way about the free dictionary. When I talk about the free dictionary, it's so good. Everyone should use it, or Grammarly. It's very good. You should use it. I haven't found specifically a language learning app that I can say, wow, amazing, everyone has to use it. Yeah, eJoy seems pretty cool. We looked at Preply yesterday. Seems pretty good. Seems pretty interesting. italki is fine. BBC Learning English. Yeah, they're all good. They're all good, but nothing that I can just jump on with my hair on fire and say, you've got to use it. Nothing like that. Yet. So keep introducing stuff to me, and I will keep checking it out. Longman Dictionary, okay, yeah, that one's all right. The reason I like the free dictionary primarily is that it has idioms, phrases, and they have very good definitions and examples. So the idioms and phrases from the free dictionary are great. Hellotalk is good for finding learning partners. So Amar, I would agree with that, except it is actually a challenge to find language partners. There are big pros and cons to Hellotalk. The company that I was part of before was partnered with them in the past, and so I know Hellotalk very well. I know the whole team, and it's a good company, and it's a good app. But it's not meant to teach you English, and for the partner thing, you have to do the work to find the partner. And it's a matter of sifting through many people who don't maybe fit you to find the right one, or the right ones who can partner with you. So that part of it can be somewhat of a challenge. But yes, Hellotalk is a cool app. There are a lot of cool things about it. I actually taught probably 50 classes on Hellotalk in the past. I think you should... Okay. Did I miss any questions earlier? How to break out the grammar fear barrier while speaking English. Okay, this one's interesting. To break out the grammar fear barrier. Yeah. Derby says, how to break out of, or how can I break out of the grammar fear barrier while speaking? So that means maybe the fear of, I don't know the right grammar to use in this situation. Should I use past perfect tense? Should I use an infinitive or a gerund? Should I be using a conditional here? Which type of conditional should I be using? Yes, reasonable to be concerned about that. But if your concern gets in the way of your speaking, it's a self-defeating thing. What does that mean? Language is play. Language is something that comes from usage specifically. That's what it is. It's a human-to-human thing. At its foundation, at its core, its essence is to send stuff across from me to you or you to me in some form, through our eyes if it's writing, or gestures, our ears if it's speaking. What we're trying to do is make stuff happen in your head that is happening in my head. That's all it is. Any language that you speak, I have things here, and I want similar things to happen there, and I need to do some things here to make that happen. So if you boil down communication to that, spoken communication to that, then does grammar have to be perfect? No. So when you say, how do you break out of the fear barrier? How do you break through that? The only thing to say there is you just do it, because you know that grammar, perfect grammar, is not a prerequisite or a requirement for speaking, communicating well. I have conversations with people who have terrible grammar, who know very few words, and were able to communicate a little bit. Well, should I say, don't even try. Sorry, you don't have perfect grammar. Don't try. I don't want to hear it. And let me know when you have great grammar. No, I don't care. So one thing to realize is that other people probably don't care as much as you think they care. They're not listening to your grammar as much as you think they are. You may be seeing yourself through their eyes. If you see yourself through the eyes of others, you're adding something which isn't included in just the eyes of others, because others see you from their own experience. But when you see yourself through their eyes, you include everything you know about yourself inside. all of your flaws, your imperfections, the things you don't like about yourself gets printed onto the thing that you send out to them, and then through their eyes you see yourself. So you're really just seeing yourself in a more negative way, and that causes fear. So don't do that. Be the person who doesn't care. Be the person who just tries, who wants to get the ideas across, who wants to communicate thoughts, rather than being perfect. But because then if you try, if you just work at it, if you do your best, what you find is it happens. You improve grammar naturally through example, through conversation, through feedback, by reading, by immersing yourself in the language. It happens. The ironic thing is, though, that the fear part has to go away first. First, you have to just get over that and take the first step. But getting over that doesn't mean you have to do the whole thing. It can just be the first step. I'm going to just try to communicate. I'm just going to try my best, and I'm not going to worry about being perfect, right? And do you think Pablo, who I was talking to earlier, is obsessed about every single thing that he's saying being perfect? No, he's communicating. Maybe he's good at English, but he's not stressed about the things that are not perfect because he doesn't care. Why should he care? I don't care, right? So that's what communication is about. And my suggestion would be to push yourself to take only the first step. And once you take the first step, having a basic conversation, for example, communicating with someone, for example, then you might see that the second step is a little easier, and the third step is easier, and the fourth step is easier, and you might start to relax. And then as you start to relax, the grammar will come to you more easily, and you'll start to sound more natural. I hope that helps. Derby, it's a good question. A lot of people feel that way. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. I used Speaky. I blocked hundreds of people but found 2 great language partners who became my friends. Yeah, you gotta search and find the good ones among the not so good ones. Candy says, I work with Americans and sometimes I act or say stuff that could come across as offensive to them due to my complete imperfect knowledge of work ethics where they come from. Okay. This is a good one too. I'm going to read Candy's question here. Candy Sweet. Real name? Question mark? Maybe. I work with Americans. Hey, I'm one of those. And sometimes I act or say stuff that could come across as offensive to them due to my complete imperfect knowledge of work ethics. So this may be a matter of faux pas. A faux pas is when you do something that is kind of against the cultural norms, but often it's unintentional. It's not on purpose. It's called a faux pas, F-A-U-X-P-A-S. Now, if you commit a faux pas, what happens? People feel uncomfortable. They feel awkward. If Candy is saying that it sometimes causes offense or becomes an issue where people feel uncomfortable or they give awkward looks, make the conversation about that. That's the best thing because it accomplishes several things at once. It feeds multiple birds with one scone. So instead of just avoiding it and shrinking into the shrubbery, what you can instead do is say, listen, I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm not sure which things are okay to say and which things are not. I come from a different culture. I hope you understand, but I'm very open and eager to learn the best way to do things. So could you tell me what is the best way to handle a situation like this? So that accomplishes several things. Number one, it shows the other person that you have recognized the situation. If you just sit quietly, they don't know that you have. And that makes things even more awkward. Oh, that Candy lady, she always does offensive things, and she doesn't even know about it. That sounds funny coming out of my mouth, but you know what I mean. Instead, oh yes, well, something slightly awkward happened yesterday, but she noticed that it made everyone else feel a certain way, and she asked about it. We explained the situation, and it's all good. She's very self-aware. She's always paying attention to the dynamics of the situation, what's going on. And I think that's really cool. So then you become not the person who sometimes does awkward things, but the person who, well, forget about the awkward things, the person who wants to learn, to understand the culture. You become a person who seems curious about the culture, and you use an awkward situation as an opportunity to interact in a positive way. And then the other benefit is you then learn the proper way of doing it. The other benefit is you then seem to them as a certain type of person who likes to learn new things, is not afraid to ask questions, and is very self-aware. So the next time it happens, start a conversation about that. Acknowledge it. Recognize it. Point it out. And then see what happens. Bring it into the open. And if you bring it into the open, I think you'll find everyone, they will relax, and they will say, oh, I'm happy to tell you about that. I'm happy to explain that. Sure. Yeah, so usually what we do is, and they'll explain it. Now, I don't know exactly what your situation is, but that is generally a good way of doing it. In American culture, people like to talk about things in the open. People don't like to just look off into the corner. People like to talk about this stuff. So just say it. Be a little direct. It's fine. And it's an opportunity to learn. That's what I do anyway. That works for me pretty well. So that's my suggestion. Guys, if you have any other questions, don't forget to let me know in the comments. Check out my full courses in the links in the description. Hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe as well. Very important so that you can see future videos and live streams. Okay. Let me know how that goes, Candy. Yeah, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. I know this is maybe not at the ideal time for a lot of people, but mind the noughties when I was in uni. One of my friends was a huge fan of rap singers. Oh, okay. I'm not gonna do that one. Aha! I like this one. Different Pablo. I am surrounded by Pablos. They never talk. I don't know what it is with them. I think they can't be bothered. When they come to Abu Dhabi, they don't know, say what's okay culture-wise. Do you ask them directly, Candy? Hey, how should I deal with this kind of situation? How would you do that directly? And if you do, will they just not answer your question? I'm sure they'll answer it, right? But Candy, did you ask them directly? I'm saying my suggestion is ask a direct question. Okay. Pablo says, hi from Madrid, Spain. Thanks for your program. I'm afraid in Spain, teaching English is always without pronunciation and speaking properly. It's a pity. Now, I assume that you mean it's mostly book-focused, mostly learning grammar, mostly learning by examples, multiple choice, all that stuff. The academic way of learning English. Yes. Well, that's very common around the world. China, Korea, a lot of Asia does it that way. Many different countries around the world teach English in the same way. And it's kind of weird, isn't it? Think about it. When you want to learn math, you learn math in a very kind of mathy way. Because you learn how to do things with problems, and then you have to practice it. You have to do things with it, and then you get feedback, and you know whether or not it's right. But a language is not a mathy thing. A language is a languagey thing. And languagey things are meant to be between people, meant to be for communication. So everything is learned in the same way, even though not everything should be learned in the same way. Think about it this way. You're in school, and you're supposed to learn in this class how to sing. So it's a singing class. It's all about singing. But you never get to sing, and no one ever sings in front of you. All you do is look at books about singing, and you learn notation, you learn about the different notes, and all of that technical stuff. You learn everything about that. And then you finish school, you finish that class, and someone says, "Oh, you took a singing class. Can you sing for me?" And you say, No, I can't actually sing. I don't know what good singing sounds like. I never actually practiced singing. But I know that if you show me some singing on a page, some notes, I can tell you what everything is. That's a B flat, and that's a J minor. There's no J, I realize that. But I can tell you all about it, but I don't know how to do it. That sounds crazy, right? But that's how language is learned. That's how English is learned in a lot of school systems. Isn't that insane? Yes, it is. It's insane. Well, it should be that you would watch movies and talk about what they're talking about and learn the phrases that they're learning and have conversations about it. And the teacher explains things and you ask questions and it's very interactive because it's language. Just like in a singing class, in most singing classes, it is singing. You sing, everyone sings together, the teacher sings, and then you talk about it and they give you feedback and it's all about the doing and the singing. Why is language not learned this way? It's absolutely insane. So it's no surprise that someone can go through 4-5 years of English education, even take English as a major in university, and then when you say, "Hey, how's it going?" They don't know how to answer a basic question. It's not their fault. It's the fault of the education system. It's the fault of the way that it's structured. That's whose fault it is. And I know people who've majored in English who don't know the difference between "how's it going" and "what are you doing?" What are you doing? Good? No, that's not the right answer. That's a very basic thing. But I'm not blaming you for not knowing because you've learned a bendy thing that should be learned by practice and interaction and back and forth and immersion. You've learned that in the way that you would learn math, which I'll say one more time is insane. So, this goes back to Pablo's, I think, point and question. Then what do you do? If you actually want to learn the language, you have to kind of do what I said. You have to have interaction of some kind, spoken interaction, regular spoken interaction. That should integrate in some ways listening skills, speaking skills, putting together vocabulary, words, and phrases. You should watch movies, TV shows, listen to podcasts. To improve your listening, to learn pronunciation. A lot of pronunciation is learned passively. That means you're not actively learning how to say it. It just sort of sinks in over time. If you listen to enough stuff, if you watch enough movies, you'll eventually get the feel for that if you develop awareness. If you don't develop awareness, a sense of awareness in the differences in sounds, then it will be tough. But if you develop keen awareness of your surroundings and the differences in sounds, and you watch a lot of movies, you will start to just pick up that natural sound, and you'll know when you said something that doesn't quite sound natural. But, of course, there are also many tools available. So when you're learning pronunciation, don't do it the academic way and look up the phonetic symbols of that specific word, that pronunciation. No. Instead, you should listen to it because it's a language. So go on a website, on a dictionary, click on the sound icon and listen to it. Listen to that. Phonetic. Phonetic or phonetic? Is it phonetic or phonetic? Not phonetic, not phonetic. And copy it. Use the shadowing technique. But as long as it's interactive, as long as it's about what it is, and when I say about what it is or learned in the way that it's supposed to be used, I mean interactive, immersive, used rather than learned passively in books, right? As long as it's learned in the same way that it should be used, then you will be okay. There's so many different ways to improve your English. Unfortunately, most education systems teaching English have not got the memo. Very sad. And it's all about exams, which aren't particularly useful. So, Pablo, thanks for the question. Sorry about the rant, the tirade, but it's a good question, and it's definitely an issue, and hopefully it improves over the next 10 to 15 years because the systems are quite outdated. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. Of course, subscribe, and check out my full English courses, including pronunciation courses, in the links in the description. Okay. All right. I know I still don't know that much. I just know that it's offensive to some people. We never learn how to judge people because they come from another culture. Diversity is beautiful. I agree with that. We'll try and let you know how it goes. I'm happy to have a course on the culture. It's almost never taught here. We're fed grammar, and it's been done to death, and I feel like I have hit a plateau. Time to take it to the next level, Candy. Full-on immersion. What are you doing? Good. This sounds like a conversation I'm a part of. It happens a lot. Hey, how's it going? Or no, what is the common one? What's up? Oh, yeah, that's what it is. What's up? Good. Wrong answer. The answer to what's up is... What's the answer to what's up? Do you know? Not much. How's it going? Good. Ah, okay. What's up? Not much. Nothing. Just sitting here trying to drink my last few drops of ice cold coffee. Luba says, I look forward to seeing your new advanced grammar course. Yes, look forward to that. So the advanced grammar course, this is actually, I want to talk about this for just a second. Luba says, I look forward to seeing your advanced grammar course. Now, some of you know that I've been working on a new set of courses that will be coming out this year. It's going to be 9 courses, 9 complete, full new courses. And they cover many different topics. I'm doing one on culture, several on writing, 2 on pronunciation. We're going to do one about emails, a lot of stuff. One of them is an advanced grammar course. It's a full grammar course. It covers pretty much everything that you could want to learn. So then you might say, wait a second. Luke, aren't you the guy who says don't learn grammar from books? What are you doing teaching a grammar course? What is this? Well, the course is based on example. So while I may mention technical words here and there, it's all about the examples and learning by example and by situation. It's all about, oh, I see how it's being used here. I think I can do that. And then you make your own, you practice your own. we're going to be talking about tons of different things. That's going to be a very long course. Not super excited to edit that one. That's going to take probably 3 months to edit. But once it's out, I'm very excited to see how you guys feel about that one. The best way to learn grammar is through example, by seeing a bunch of different examples of that particular piece of grammar. You can learn what it's called. That's good to identify it for later. If you're talking about it, it's good to know the name. But you shouldn't focus on that, and you shouldn't focus on all of the rules that you need. You should focus on the examples. How is this used? How do native English speakers use this particular thing? And then how can I make my own examples based on that? The human brain has a natural capacity to create sentences and build meaning with words that follow grammatical rules. But we don't need to learn the rules in order to do that, because the brain can put it together. The brain is a natural grammar machine. So if you learn the sentence fragments, if you learn the patterns, then it just starts to come naturally to you. And you'll find, oh, okay, well, if I just, in this situation, I remember that thing I learned in that course with those examples. If I use it like this, that should sound natural, and it probably will. So it's just something that you have to learn through building the habit to immerse yourself in the language, and through seeing tons and tons and tons and tons of examples. And that's what that course is going to be all about. I know it's been a while. I said the courses have been coming out for a long time, and they are. I've been working on them constantly, but they are coming out. It's the top priority in my entire life at the moment, so they will come out. It's just taking time because I want to make sure they're really, really good. The difference between my videos and my courses are, courses I might spend months writing them, months filming them, and months editing them and doing the final cuts on them. So one course may have 5 or 6 months of work in it by itself. So I spend a lot of time on them to make sure that they're useful. I have currently 11 courses, existing courses. You can check those out in the links in the description. 80,000 students have taken them, so that's a lot. And if you are interested in improving your English seriously and you want to take it to the next level, I would strongly recommend checking those out. I feel very confident in the usefulness of the courses. So check those out. Those are in the links in the description. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. That would be much appreciated. Also, subscribe. That helps out the channel as well. Thanks for the question, Luba. I mean, the comment. Many grammar courses, but, well, thank you, Luba. It's the best way to learn grammar. That's why I wait for your course. Yes, learning by example is so important. I mean, I know that you know this, Luba, because Luba is very usage-oriented, right? Using the language, practicing the language, getting feedback, and that's really a great way to learn. But yeah, not all materials are built like that, and I think learning has to be interesting. I think it has to be natural. One thing that I've noticed is that learning materials, I don't know if this is just me, but when I watch a lot of language learning materials, like YouTube videos, for example, it seems very babyish. Like the viewer is seen as a child. I think just because someone doesn't know the language well doesn't mean that the speaking style should be babyish or kiddie. But a lot of them are, just me, okay, cringy and kind of talking like a baby to you, the audience. But, I mean, most of the people who watch my stuff, they're adults. So you're an adult. I'm an adult. Okay, we speak different languages, but I'm a real person and you're a real person. And it's time to learn about The past tense, everybody. Are you ready? This is very weird to me. I feel so uncomfortable when I watch it. My whole goal is to just hopefully be myself and connect with people who want real English from a real human. But a lot of those other channels are very, very popular, so they must be doing something right. And I no big criticism of those. There are a lot of great language learning channels out there, of course. Art's question. And ache our backs did. Ooh, that's a tough one, Art. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're actually right. So Art says, let me bring up a second example here. Let me bring up a quick example. Okay, well, we'll just talk about it. Art says, "Hey, Luke, the other day I met a quite strange sentence. And ache our backs did. Is it an inversion made for showing a strong feeling, like our backs did ache very much? I mean it." And Art is actually right here. This is an unusual way to structure a sentence, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for daily speech, but you will often see it in writing and literature to reinforce something, to make it a little bit stronger. I know that it looks odd, but what it does that you don't usually see is, if you were going to say this in daily speech, you would say, "And our backs ached," and "our backs ached." That would be a simple statement of the fact that our backs ache, right? But why are we saying "and aches," and "ache our backs did"? Well, why don't we just say "and our backs ached"? Why don't we just say that? To give it emphasis, as Art says, you want to focus on it. You want to put the word "did" in there. Like when someone says, "You didn't take my cookie, did you?" Well, I might say, No, I did take it." Instead of "I took it." Because "I took it" is saying, yes, it's saying that I took it, but it's not emphasizing it. It's not focusing on it. Well, what if I want to do that? So if we want to emphasize it or focus on it, we might then include a did or a do. No, I do want it. I did take it. Yes. But what if we put this at the end? What if we want to say the verb first, ache, ache, ache. Our backs did. You could say our backs did ache, but ache our backs did is one way to structure it. And we could say things like, "and laugh we did." We knew we would laugh, and laugh we did. So you might have a repetition there. That's pretty common, right? I was surprised when we arrived on time, and on time we were. Yeah, that would emphasize it. Now, that sounds a little strange, and it would kind of depend on the context, but it's something that kind of emphasizes your point or strengthens it a little bit as a kind of repetition of what was said previously, just to give this literary sense of focus. But it's not something that you would usually speak. It's not something that you would usually put into a conversation. This sort of thing, "and laugh we did, and cry we did, and happy we were," that sort of thing you would maybe put in literature, although even then in writing it wouldn't be particularly common. So that's a good question, Art. Thanks for that. Guys, if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my full courses in the links in the description. Okay. Stylistic devices. Yep, that works. Nathan Lee says, are you a bot or real? I am a bot. Thank you for noticing. My American friend and I discuss grammar. We make funny examples. We laugh a lot. It brings us a lot of fun. That's great. If you have a language partner, Luba has managed to get really good language partners and has regular conversations with them, and as a result has improved her English tremendously. And a lot of people would give up on finding good partners before she did, but she didn't, and she kept at it, and she found really good language partners, and that's a very powerful thing because it's a great way to practice. We learn the culture of language no matter whether it is babyish or not. Whatever. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I think we'll call it a day. What do you think? What do you think? So thank you all for sticking around for the conversation, for staying up late if it's late for you, or for hanging out early if it's early, or whatever time it is. Much appreciated. We will be back next week. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button to support the channel. Subscribe if you want to see future videos, live lessons, and all that stuff. Courses if you want to improve your English seriously. Write down your questions for next time. We'll do one of these next week for sure. One or two. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. And thanks again for the great questions. I will see you next time. Have a fantastic weekend.